Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introducing myself. My name is Ilham Nugroho, NIM 1961211151 from PPI 5A. Today I will explain material about reading assessment, grammar assessment, writing assessment, speaking assessment, and the last is listening assessment. Reading assessment in this context is primarily used to measure student learning and presumably to improve student learning. This type of assessment usually involves the measurement of skill and knowledge gained over a period of time based on course content and specific skill practice. The assessment of reading ability does not end with the measuring comprehension. Next, we will discuss about micro skill, macro skill from reading assessment. Micro skill, discrimination among the distinctive grammars and orthographic pattern of English. Number 2 is retain chunks of language of different length in short-term memory. Number 3, process writing at an efficient rate of speed to suit the purpose. Number 4 is recognize a chord of interpret word order pattern and their significance. And then macro skill, recognize the rhetorical form of written discourse and their significance for interpretation. And then recognize the communicative function of written text and according to format purpose. And the last is develop and use a battery of writing strategies such as scanning and skimming, detecting discord maker, questioning the meaning of word from context, and activating schema for the interpretation of text. Okay, the next is assessing grammar. In terms of assessment, grammar is central to language description and task taker perform. Today, the knowledge of grammar is evaluated by its correct use in communication through listening, speaking, reading, and writing in second language. Grammatical knowledge consists of 3 elements. Grammatical form or the structure of a language form is both morphology or how words are formed and syntax and how words are struggled together. Both of them are concerned with linguistic accuracy of language. And then the grammatical meaning of this form. Grammatical meaning consists of both the literal and intended meaning that it conveys by the form. It's concerned with the meaningful of the language use. And then their pragmatic meaning. The pragmatic or implied meaning result from the appropriate language choice a learner make in give communicating event. Designing assessment tasks. This is multiple choice text. The most common select response task present a blank or underlined word and sentence, and then the task maker must choose the correct response from the options that are given. And then discrimination task. The task that asks the task taker to attend and to input that can be either language or non-language to respond in the form of a choice between among contrast or opposites such as true or false. And then short answer task. The input is present in the form of a question following reading passage or oral visual stimulus. The expected task taker response can vary from single word to a sentence or two. Dialogue completion task. The input is present in the form of short conversation or dialogue in which part of the exchange or the entire exchange is left blank, and the expect response mean to grammatically correct. Okay, and then we will discuss about assessing writing. Writing assessment refers to an area of study that contains theory and practice that guide to evaluate a writer perform or potentially through a writer task. Writing assessment can also refer to the technology and practice used to evaluate student writing and learning. Type of writing performed: imitative, kemudian and then intensive, responsive, and extensive. And then we will discuss about macro and micro skill of writing. Micro skill: produce graphic and orthographic pattern of English. Produce writing an efficient rate of speed to suit to the purpose. And then produce an alphabetical grammar system. Express a particular manner in different grammatical form. Use cohesive device in written discourse. Macro skill: use the rhetorical form and convention writing of discourse. Appropriately accomplish the communicative function of written text according to form and purpose. And then number 4 is assessing speaking. Assessing speaking requires that we either observe a live oral perform or that we capture the perform by some means for evaluating at a later time. A method for elucidation must be selected, writing scale must be developed, and interview or reads must be trained. Basic type of speaking: imitative is like before, it's imitative, intensive, responsive, interactive, and extensive. Micro and macro of speaking. The micro skill refer to producing the smaller chunk of language such as phonemes, morpheme, word collection, and partial unit. The macro skill imply the speaker focus on the large element like fluency, discourse, function, style, cohesion, nonverbal communication, and strategic option. The type of assessment task is design assessment task, and then imitative speaking, word and sentence repetition, and then direct responsive task, read aloud test, sentence dialogue completion task, and oral question. Responsive speaking, question and answer, giving instruction and direction, paraphrasing, and spoken English, TSE test. And then interactive speaking like interview, role play, discussion, and conversation. This guy may be conversation. And extensive speaking like oral presentation. The rule for effective assessment must be involved. And the last we will discuss about assessing listening. Listening assessment are good for determining student comprehension or their ability to communicate. What's more, the way your student perform on their listening assessment can help you look at how to improve listening plan and address the need you learn more closely. Type of listening: intensive phoneme, word intonation, and then number 2 responsive, a greeting, comment, question. Number 3 selective, TV, radio, news, item, story. And number 4 is extensive listening for the keys, the main idea, and making inference. micro and macro skill of listening. Attending to the smaller bits and chunk of language in more of bottom-up process. Macro skill focus on large element involved in a top-down approach. Designing assessment intensive listening. A. Recognize phonological and morphology elements. B. Test taker with. C. Test taker with. Same. And then designing assessment task, responsive listening. Appropriately respond to a question and task taker reader. Designing assessment task, selective listening. I think that's enough. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.